What's up, people? My name is Joe White. Thank you guys for clicking on this and watching today. So, I've been getting a lot of backlash on the Twitters, primarily from DJ Stames and AC, about my thoughts about this All Elite Wrestling deal. And the question of insurance was brought up. And I need to clarify something. He says every time somebody asks him about insurance and fair pay and everything like that, his words pretty much are certainly anybody who has a dual role who helps out behind the scenes will have the same opportunity basically that Jacksonville Jaguars office personnel gets. Basically saying anybody who helps out in the office will get insurance. And Stames goes, he never says that. He beats around the bush, though, and basically says anybody who is holding an office personnel job or helps out backstage, like agents and office personnel, will have insurance. He does not say anything else about the rest of the roster. He never comes out and says, yes, everybody's going to be covered under our insurance policies. Or everybody will have an opportunity to take part in our insurance program. He says, basically, key office personnel. Which is the same line that WWE uses. 2. DJ Stames says on Twitter, independent contractors normally would get money within their compensation package and then buy it from themselves. He goes, aren't you an independent contractor? Are you an independent contractor with your trucking gig? Yes, I am a truck driver. I lease a truck. I am an independent contractor, quote unquote. Kind of the same thing where WWE has it. I'm classified as an independent contractor. I file a 1099, but unless I want to pay a shit ton of money out of my own pocket, I cannot work and haul for anybody but Prime Inc. Now, as an independent contractor, I'm responsible for my own insurance. Nowhere in my contract, nowhere in my settlements, nowhere in my pay stubs does it say allotted X amount of money for insurance. I'm responsible for that out of my own pocket. Now, do I think it's fair? No, because I'm hauling your fucking loads. I can only work for you right now. You should see the insurance that Prime Inc. offers their regular employees, the people who are not independent contractors. I'm better off buying my own insurance than going through what the company offers, but that's another point altogether. But nowhere do they tell me we are going to give you a stipend to help you pay for your insurance. I'm on my own for that shit. I get paid right now, it's 71 and a half. So you might as well say 72% of the load. So when somebody says, like Walmart calls up and goes, okay, we need you to go pick up a load of chickens at Tyson in North Carolina, and we want you to haul it from North Carolina to Florida. And how much are you going to pay me? We're going to pay you $100 to do it. Okay. Now, granted, that's not how it's set up. They negotiate a rate. It's not my business to know how that rate is negotiated, really. It's not my end of the deal. That's on Prime's end of the deal. But for the sake of argument, we're going to say it's $100 to go from North Carolina to Florida. It does happen, by the way. So Prime says, okay, well, the driver's going to need fuel. So Walmart says, okay, we'll chuck them $50 for fuel. Well, there's a couple tolls on the way to North Carolina. So we're going to pay you, okay, we'll pay him $30 for tolls. Which the $100 for fuel and the $30 for tolls really don't mean shit, because chances are, if there's tolls and if there's fuel needed along your route, you're going to pay a lot more for it. So let's go ahead and throw that out the window. So $100. Prime says, okay, driver, we want you to pick up in North Carolina and haul it down to Florida. And out of that $100 that Walmart's paying us, you get 72% of the load, so we're going to pay you $72 to do that. Nowhere in there do they say, oh, and by the way, out of this load, we're going to chuck you an extra $5 towards your insurance. That does not happen. No. It doesn't happen. In WWE, it may happen. But if I'm an independent contractor, if I'm a pro wrestler and I go wrestle for, let's say, CWF, Danny and Jeff aren't going to sit there and go, okay, here's $50 for your match, if you're lucky. Here's $50 for your match, and oh, you need that insurance, here's an extra $20. No, that doesn't happen. But in this case, in AEW's case, and for them to say, I mean, I'll play a clip. Let's play a couple of clips here, because I want to get in deeper into this. This Tony Khan guy, the guy who's putting this all together. First off, he's only about 3 years older than me. Not that age makes a difference, but golly, this kid looks young. I got more gray hair than this guy does, and I just turned 34 yesterday. That's how you know you're getting old, folks. I woke up yesterday morning, made it until about noon before I actually looked at my phone and saw, oh shit, it's my birthday. You know you're getting old when you forget your own birthday. But let's hear what this Tony Khan has to say. We'll go through this a little bit. This is an interview that he was doing with some news reporters. I could see here the local CBS affiliates.
Really capable executives here that are managing this, and they manage a great production today. We have a great roster, and
you don't have a great roster. Okay, here's the thing. You don't have a great roster yet. Who do you got? Who do you got? Who do you got? Let's see here. You got Chima, who is part of that Japan group, or China group. You got Jericho. It's a good get. You got Christopher Daniels. Good get. Cody. He's a founder. You got El Lederman, who's a part of that China group. Nobody's ever heard of him. Kazarian. Okay. Hangman Adam Page. Okay. Joey Janela. Moving on. Matt Jackson. Founder. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who is MJF. Very good get. Blue chipper. Curious to see what they do with him. Nick Jackson. Founder. Pac, who is the former Neville, who everybody's going crazy about. Keep in mind, again, it's the same 10,000 grubby people that are fucking following you and watching you on YouTube. You don't get it, people. And Dave Scher said it best. This is the chance. This is the fans' chance to prove that they really want to change. This is the fans' chance to put their money where their fucking mouth is. Because on a national level, you hear the word Pac, they're going to think X-Pac. They don't know that this guy used to be Neville until they've seen him. Scorpio Sky. Nobody outside your hardcore audience knows who he is. Sorry, I love Scorpio. I loved his work. I've been following him ever since way back in the day when he was wearing a mask down in Southern California. Yakihiro Yamamura. part of that Chinese group. Nobody knows him. T-Hawk, another member of that Chinese group. Nobody knows him. Brandy Rhodes, founder. Britt Baker. Okay? Penelope Ford. Okay? Billy Gunn is a producer. You got BJ Whitmer, who is rumored to be a producer. Dana Massey and Jeff Jones, who are rumored to be producers. And then you got the Khans as the corporate staff. So you don't have a great roster yet. Your choice of words should have been, we're working towards building a great roster. Right now, you got a bunch of indie names that only about maybe the hardcore indie scene knows, and that's maybe 1 million people. Hell, not even.
Together.
And people like AC are gonna be like, they're more well known than that, Joe White. No, they're not. They're not. The last time, I mean, I'm sorry, Sinclair, Ring of Honor, they have 70 some TV stations around the country. That's it. That's it. Doesn't mean that 70 some, the entire outreach of those stations are watching Ring of Honor. They're not. Or I'll say be more on a national level than what they are. And again, I can't give you a definite number, because all I'm trying to say is this is your hardcore, same people who watch Being the Elite, the same people who rush to Hot Topic and buy their shirts. Which to me, the Hot Topic thing is not that big of a deal. It's not. Get your shit in Walmart, then that's a big deal. Get your shit in Sears, that's a big deal. Which Sears is going out of business. So get your shit in a bigger store is what I'm trying to stress at. Get your shit in Target. You love Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel signing, sponsored All In. How about get your stuff in Cracker Barrel? So, I'm sorry, everybody who wants to sit there and go, they have a Funko Pop deal. They have a Hot Topic deal. Don't mean shit. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Gotta remember, this is no longer, the Bucks have stepped out of your niche product. They have stepped out of that. If they want to go national with this, you gotta start thinking national. You gotta start thinking on a WWE level with these guys, because that's their competition. Maybe not right away, but I'm telling you, it's up to the fans to prove to these guys and to prove to Vince McMahon that we want to change. You wanted this. This is what you fans want. Now it's time to put your money where your mouth is. And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think a lot of the same people who traveled to Chicago are going to travel to Vegas, or then they're going to travel to Jacksonville. You can't, TV deal is coming. But I don't know. In the back of my mind, I'm sitting there going, do these guys really know what they're in for? Well, Joe, Cody is the son of Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty did this, and Dusty, I don't care. That doesn't mean, when Dusty was doing all this shit, it was a different era, different time, different landscape. Let's continue on and see what Mr. Tony Khan has to say here.
We're going to do great things, and like you said, we got a lot of other awesome things going on. It's a great time to be in sports entertainment.
There it is. There it is. The two words that every young Buck fan dreads hearing. You just ran off your hardcore fan base, I think, right there. Those two words. They hate that word, Tony. The hardcore fans, your hardcore audience, the same people that showed up at that rally. They hate those two words, Tony, and you've already said it. And They don't want sports entertainment. They want pro wrestling. Like, there's a big fucking difference. But anyway.
Stuff we're doing, I think we're going to really revolutionize wrestling. All of us are really passionate about wrestling, and by bringing together a group of people that have like the same kind of vision, and yeah, it's going to be competitive, but even if it's competitive within, I think like it's going to be healthy. It's going to breed healthy competition. Really respect this, the sporting aspect of it, and that's something I feel very strongly about. It's something UFC, for example, has done a great job with. And I feel like you know, if we treat the performers and the sport as you know, as the legitimate athletic competition that it is, that I think it's going to bring a lot of positive attention to this.
How long has this been on your radar, Tony, that you wanted to do something like this?
I've always been a wrestling fan since I was 7 years old, but I never would have put money or taken the opportunity to jump in and invest in a wrestling business if it hadn't been an opportunity that made sense, and I did a business case for it. And having spent a lot of time, you know, in my lifetime watching wrestling is just kind of my hobby when I'm not.
Sorry. The OBS wigged out on me there. You couldn't have killed that music in the background while he was trying to talk to these guys. This is your press. This is your media. Kill the stupid techno babble.
Not working because I spend so much time watching Jaguars football and Fulham football. I don't really get much spare time, but if I had one thing I could spend my free time doing, it would have been watching wrestling. It was watching wrestling for many years, and so it's something I've always cared about, and then the stars align business-wise, and there's great opportunities for the company and for the performers.
Tony, one of the things that Cody stressed was that this is going to be a promotion where wrestlers are going to get paid. Independent contracting has been a big thing in professional wrestling where people don't get health insurance, they don't get paid well. What can you tell us the plan is for AEW?
I know for the full-time employees, they're going to have like the best in healthcare packages and benefits, same as like senior employees of the Jaguars, for example, here in Florida. Now, it would be different for different performers depending on how much they do with the company and how active they are in the ongoing business of the company, if that makes sense.
There it is. There it is. He's basically said, okay, that the ongoing people who help out in the ongoing day-to-day, the full-time employees, the people who basically work in the office, will get insurance. Come on now. That's what he said. That's just like WWE. The people who work in the office and the people who work and handle the day-to-day operations of the company will get insurance. That's what he said.
Sense. There's a lot of wrestlers that have been very involved in the production, that are very involved in this today, that did a great job, and they can serve dual roles and do two things, if that makes sense.
Have you come up with an infrastructure?
There it is again. They serve dual roles, which means they work in the office and they wrestle. How else do you spend that?
For how the contracts are going to work or anything?
Yeah, I've been doing. Yeah, I planned all. Yeah, we have a good plan for that.
Is there any way to elaborate?
Without getting too specific, different things for different people. Not every contract, same as in sports, right? Not every contract in sports is the same. That's why, But so yeah, we have a great group, like I said, a roster that's already coming together, and I think with working with other companies, working with international specifically, there's great opportunities, but also there are other great free agents out there, and we'll be really active in that market. And again, the wrestlers will be taking on very, very active roles, and they'll be really integral in the growth of this business. I'm really excited about what those guys bring in terms of knowledge and experience, putting on one of the best wrestling pay-per-views in history in Chicago. It was great for me. I grew up in Champaign. One of my best friends lived like 5 minutes from the arena, so it was like a homecoming for me too. And to watch those guys pull off what they did, it was really special. We're all good friends. Like I said, I think we're all pulling with the same vision in the same direction. So no, I mean, without being too specific, yeah, I mean, I think we have a good vision and structure for building a roster.
I know a big talking point today was male and female performers getting equal pay. How important is that, and how cool is it to be on the cutting edge of that?
It's really important, and we have signed some female performers, and again, it's very competitive salaries with the.
Now, I do agree with the equal pay for women as well as for men. Obviously, everybody, the term Britt Baker money has been thrown around on the internet. I want to make Britt Baker money. I want to make, and Brandy did go out, being the chief brand officer, did go out there on Twitter and go, look, we meant for level-wise, Jobber A will make the same amount as Jobber B per night. Main eventer A will make the same amount as main eventer X. It's depending on your spot in the card. And I agree with that totally. But another thing that Mr. Khan here, Money Mark Khan, does in this interview is basically say he doesn't have a lot of time on his hands. He doesn't have time because he's the director of statistics for the Jaguars. He's the general manager of this damn soccer team that they have that is getting ready to get kicked out of the Premier League. So he's like, I really don't have enough time to do this. It's basically they're the figureheads of the company, the same way that Vince McMahon is for this new XFL. The XFL has hired Mr. Luck to go in and oversee things. Tony Khan has hired the Bucks and Cody to go and oversee things. That's the way it is. But does this guy really know what he's in for? Does this guy really realize how much money he's getting ready to lose within the next year to 2 years of his life, if not further along in his life? Come on. I'm sure he's playing for it. But anyway, at the end of the day, do I want the company to succeed? Yes. Do I agree with their style of entertainment? Not always. Do I think that this will cause the WWE to light a fire under Vince McMahon's ass? Not in the short term. Do I want to see them be put on a national stage like a TNT, a TBS, whatever the case may be? Yes, I do. It's weird. You type in Tony Khan on Google, and one of the first things you get is Tony Khan is interested in Goldberg for AEW. Look, guys, they follow each other on Twitter. It's no big deal. Don't. This is my problem. The same group of fans who listen to this podcast, the same group of fans who subscribe to Meltzer, the same group of fans who are on the internet. That's these people's core audience. The people who have stopped watching WWE, but they still read Dave Meltzer. That's this promotion's core audience. And it's up to these fans to put their money where their mouth is and lift this core audience shit to a national level. The problem is that once they start having to cater to a national level, and once they start having to do things that keep networks happy, investors happy, things that may not necessarily that core group of Hot Topic fans, whatever you want to call them, you know what I'm getting at here. Where's that disconnect going to come? Because you know it's going to come. You know it's going to happen. Once they reach that national stage and they start having corporate people to appease, we all know how that works out. When you have to please corporations, the little guy gets shat on and they run away. Will they let that happen? Will that happen with this? If they want to get big, if they want to compete with Vince, it's going to have to happen in some way, shape, or form. Look at what happened with Ring of Honor when Ring of Honor was bought by Sinclair. You had that core group of Ring of Honor fans who was buying the DVDs, was going to all the shows, and then Sinclair brought them up and changed the booking. And the hardcore Ring of Honor audience is, what are they doing to our product? It happened. And it's going to happen with this once they get national. It's going to be curious to see what happens. So that's my response to people like DJ Stames and AC. And no, I don't get a stipend. I don't get kicked extra in my deal for insurance. I send them a check out of my own pocket each and every month. That's how it works. I don't get anything extra for it. So, anyway, folks, this has gone on too long. Money Mark Khan, man. Hope he knows what he's got himself into.